right, welcome everyone to Best of the Bracket. And as the graphic, as it alluded to, we are talking about the illustrious, the one and only
Oh yeah.
R-Truth. We're going to find out what R-Truth's greatest moments are in WWE. I'm excited about this one. This is just going to be a very fun episode for us to do. So, gentlemen, how first and foremost, how are y'all doing today? Trent, how you doing?
Doing fine. Had a decent day today, so just ready to kind of have a good laugh here, reminisce on some fun comedic moments of the, great, one of a kind R Truth.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Houston Sarge, how you doing, bud?
Today was a two beer day at least. Yeah, maybe a three beer. I don't know. It was a long day.
Jeez.
Houston traffic, long day, idiots. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
understandable.
ready to talk about our truth.
Good, good. Good.
Speaking of
Me too.
idiots.
Me too. We've got a lot of great moments to talk about. So, I mean, it's our truth is just one of those guys that just seems to be able to connect with fans. Am I right there, Trent? I mean, he just has a way to be able to really connect with the audience, and it's like one of like he makes moments. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Yeah.
like, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I agree with it completely. I think we'd heard the story before. I think from Truth himself, the question had been asked, is world champion something? He said whenever he came back to WWE, he was pulled aside by Vince and had a conversation with him. And Vince said, "Look, I got plenty of wrestlers. I need more entertainers. Can you be an entertainer for me?" "I got you, dog." That was his response to it. So, like, and really ever since then, Truth came back to the company back in 2008. And it wasn't until 2011 that we really kind of started to see the different side of Truth. And once he kind of got his moment with his childhood idol at a Capital Punishment in 2011 and got to main event against John Cena for the WWE Championship, then we started to see the comedic side, the more fun side, the more lighthearted side of Truth, I guess you could say. And so it has afforded him the longevity of his career to where the man is still doing it into his early 50s. I know he just recently turned 50 within the past year or so. So, I mean, like, not a lot of people can say that they are in the wrestling business on a full-time basis at his age, and not a lot of people are able to do what he is currently doing and has been able to do. And so that's why, yet here we are talking about him today, still continuing to see the things that he does on our TV on a weekly basis.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And we've got so many great moments, and I'm sure kind of like every other episode we've ever had. There's going to be some people will say, "Oh, you should have put this and you should have put that." It's just when you have someone like our truth, it's just very hard to narrow it completely down to like every single. I mean, we'd probably be here for 7 hours or something like that. And that's just not feasible. Although that would be interesting, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
feasible. So let's get into it. Let's talk about our truth and his greatest moments. So we're gonna start off the bracket. Just kind of doing the same. We really just kind of all watch the same moments because they're not matches. It's just the same moments, so we're very familiar. So we're gonna just start off at our list at the very top of our list, and that is coming in at number 24 in the Royal Rumble, but the women's Royal Rumble. So, Houston, why don't you take this one and talk to us
Yeah.
about about this moment and what do you remember most?
Well, one first, Valhalla was coming out to the ring, and she wore the antlers, and so Michael Cole had an erection and was going crazy for the antlers, at least, you know. And then you hear our Truth's music hit, and he jogs out to the ring, and if everybody's confused, Valhalla stops. She's kind of looking back, what is going on? And our Truth gives her a quizzical look, like, "What are you doing out here, idiot?" And he runs to the ring, slides in, and then he looks around. And he's like, "Where are all the guys?" And Nia Jax is in there ready to grin. He looks down at somebody else. "Where are the guys?" And Nia Jax just proceeds to throw him out of the ring. And of course, Trent's there to stop him and say, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be in this ring. This is the Women's Royal Rumble." And he's, "Oh, Truth, you're out." And the Truth says to any moment, "Yeah."
Great, good stuff. All right, so for the second, that's so good stuff. Good, just classic Truth. So for the second one we have on our list, we've got Triple H and Tommaso Ciampa. So we've never seen them, recently in the same place. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Truth might be onto something. So I'll take this one here. So they're being presented with world titles, new tag team titles, which awesome, by the way. Love those belts. And so Triple H is out there with Adam Pearce. Truth comes out, and so he just starts to think that Triple H is Tommaso Ciampa, and he's like, "Hey, you're not fooling anybody, Tommaso Ciampa." And it's just funny how I think Triple H had a little smirk, but how is Triple H not dying laughing? I have no idea. I would have been on the floor just dying. I would have broke. So I would have broke. But it was a nice little running gag that he has, calling Triple H Tommaso Ciampa and Tommaso Ciampa Triple H. So we saw those two, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, come out.
A lot of people.
As
Yeah.
As DX. So I mean, they took that and they kind of ran with it. Yeah, it was good. Good stuff.
Just recently they called AOP APA, so that's always good too. So he has a knack for doing that. Or what was the other one he had the other night? I got to a match, or I got a SPAC. Andre the Giant is going to be backing us up. And he's like, "Andre the Giant's passed away." What? No, I saw him today.
Good stuff.
He's talking about Braun Strowman.
And it works. It works. So
Yeah.
Classic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Trip, why don't you take this next one here? And where they needed a fifth member for War Games, and they meaning Judgment Day. So talk to us about this segment that he had with the Judgment Day.
Now, well, we when we watch Monday Night Raw, we see the Judgment Day have their clubhouse, as Priest calls it in this clip. And so Truth is lounging, kicked back on the couch. He's got like jelly rolls on a tray or something like that, some sort of pastries. He's got it all over his face, like he's having a grand old time just kicking back, relaxing in the clubhouse. And they're like, "Truth, what are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, I was waiting for y'all." He was like, "I heard y'all needed a fifth man for War Games," and that was like the night 2 days prior. Trying to remember that we do shows on Saturdays, so they're like, "No, the show happened 2 days ago." He's like, "Oh, really? Did y'all win? How'd I do?" And it was just funny to be like it already happened, but he was like, "Oh, really? How, do we win? Like, how was I? Was I good? Like, I don't know. Tell me." And it's just some of the comical stuff that he did right here with Judgment Day that just really started gaining more traction. And I know we talked about this before off the air. It's just like it started gaining more and more steam to where people legitimately wanted to see him a part of Judgment Day, and so much so that people were buying Judgment Day shirts like off the rack. And so that just kind of shows you a little bit more of like some of the impact that truth has, even if it's just something subtle, like just pretending to be in the judgment day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's good stuff. So
Yeah.
we've got next. We've got acrophobia. So acrophobia. Houston, do you want to take this one and explain to what
Yeah.
the hell is acrophobia?
So the way I remember it is R-Truth comes out to the ring and proclaims that he's facing his fear in this ladder match coming up, and because he has acrophobia, and Michael Cole immediately just starts laughing uncontrollably because he thinks he definitely doesn't have this right. He's got this confused with something else. He's probably thinking of spiders and not ladders, and heights. He's scared of heights. He's like, there better not be one spider on this ladder. And I swear to God, if I open up that briefcase and there's a spider, I'm gonna lose it. And so again, R-Truth gets confused, something for something else, and he proclaims he's scared of spiders and he has acrophobia. So, yeah, more great R-Truth stuff.
Now, this moment right here was one of our friend Ricky. I'm going to call him out here. This was one of his favorite moments. This was where R-Truth had said when if he found a spider in the briefcase up there, he said, "quote the grits gonna hit the pan," and
Yeah, that's what he said.
that is something that Ricky just always loves to say when bringing up R-Truth. So
Oh, that's good. Good stuff. Well, I might have acrophobia too. I don't know. So the next one, I don't even know. That's PG. Trent, why don't you take us and tell us what is? I don't even know if that's PG.
well, this is where Truth is talking. Man, he was talking about his visit to Disneyland with Wade Barrett, and it was about the money or no the Royal Rumble, and R-Truth was talking about how he went with Mickey and Minnie, and then they show a picture. It's obviously CGI'd of Truth with next to Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It was funny, and he said, then I went to Pinocchio, and then they show another CGI picture of Truth with Pinocchio, and he said, Pinocchio told me that you, Wade Barrett, were going to win the Royal Rumble, and then this happened. And then then Truth just has like this reaction, and then you just see Pinocchio's nose begin to
Yeah.
grow and grow and grow, and then Truth goes, I don't even know if that's PG. Like alluding to something else, an innuendo being made about Pinocchio's nose growing.
And I don't know how Wade Barrett kept a straight face that
No.
No, no. I I'm not sure how he did because it wouldn't have been me. That's for sure. So yeah, no, definitely would not be me. All right, so next up is going to be what we're calling Money in the Rumble. So it goes. R-Truth is, he comes out, he grabs a ladder. There's some people on the floor. They're kind of looking at him, and then he gets a ladder in the ring, and people are kind of down. It was at a moment where people were just kind of like down, crouched down and whatnot, and everyone's looking at R-Truth setting up with this ladder. And, and the announcers are like, what is he doing? What's going on here? And he climbs up and he holds his hands as soon as he gets up to the top, like he's reaching for a briefcase. And it was probably just for me at the time. I was dying hysterically. I was just laughing hysterically. Just how clever that they can make these spots and kind of how goofy they can make R-Truth. So yeah, so we're calling that Money in the Rumble. and it's just a hilarious spot, very memorable. So there you go. So next up, though, we've got hiding in plain sight. That's what we're calling hiding in plain sight. And this was kind of when he was the 24/7 champion, with 24/7, 365, I-95 European
I-95,
television
yep.
champion. Houston, why don't you
European
why don't you take us through this one?
So this one is when they're panning through the audience, like look at the crowd at Raw today, and then as they're panning through the front row of the crowd, R-Truth has cleverly hid himself. Say cleverly while he's wearing a white wig and saying out because it's our freaking truth, and wearing a I don't know what kind of he was wearing like a red overcoat to make him look like
It almost looked like a ringmaster's type costume.
Yeah, kind of like that, like a ringmaster type costume. And then next to him was Carmella wearing a top hat, like a Charlie Chaplin type disguise. And so the camera pans them, they're eating popcorn, and it stops and comes back to them, and they're like, wait a minute, and that's right when R-Truth's like, the jig is up, and he like throws his popcorn, and he's holding a baby, and he's holding his title, and he's holding on to the baby and title as he's running away from people. And you know, you could put this with a lot of different things, because there was also that moment too, where I don't know if you all remember where it was in one match. I think it was Claudio. He was in a match, or Cesaro. He was in a match, and he pulled out a table from underneath, and R-Truth was laying on it like this, like closing his eyes. And Claudio pulls him out and looks down at him. And he looks back up, and he's like, "Shh, don't tell anybody I'm here." And the humans come out to chase him away for the title. So
that was that's always good. All right, so next up, we've got a segment which we are entitling it "My Bad." Trent, why don't you take us through "My Bad"?
No, so My Bad is the go home Raw for Money in the Bank that year, and the competitors in the Money in the Bank match are all out there in the middle of the ring, basically trying to cut a last promo before the pay-per-view about why or how they're going to win the Money in the Bank match. And then R-Truth's music hits, and everybody looks really confused. And then Truth comes out there and says he's going to win the Money in the Bank because the truth is real or something like that. But he was just making this bold claim about how he was going to win the Money in the Bank match. And then Kane, corporate Kane at the time right there, was like, "Truth, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to win the Money in the Bank match this Sunday." And then Kane's like, "You're not even in the match." And Truth's like, "I'm not. Are you sure?" All right, so my bad, everyone. This on me. And then he just walks out, and everybody is just like, "What the hell did we just see?" And so it was one of the earlier moments of Truth just being this like from out of left field type comedic entertainer.
Absolutely. All right, so our next segment, we are calling this the Hot Tag Ladder Match. So Houston, why don't you take us through the Hot Tag Ladder Match?
So WrestleMania, the most recent one, WrestleMania 40, and it is a ladder match for both tag team championships. Before they were unified, now they're going to be their own separate thing. Both up high, you have to grab a ladder and reach up there to get them. But R-Truth gets confused, like he always does, and so everybody is down in this ladder match. Miz is needing some help in the middle of this ring, and I think it was Damian Priest is in the middle of it, or Finn Balor, one of the two. It doesn't matter. The important thing is Miz is needing R-Truth's help. So R-Truth jumps up from down on the ring side onto the corner of the ring, and it reaches out for a hot tag. And Miz kind of looks around like, what is he doing? And he's starting to get the crowd involved crawling over, which R-Truth can just get in there, but he's stomping on the stairs. He's reaching for the hot dog, getting the crowd involved, and finally Miz like, all right, I'll just go along with it. Reaches out and slaps his hand for a hot tag, and the crowd just erupts and cheers. And of course, R-Truth does the 5 moves of doom. His idol John Cena. And Michael Cole is feeding into this because he's like, John Cena's his childhood hero. He's been his hero since he was 40. So, yeah, it's just a great spot, great segment.
Oh, good deal. Well, Trent, I think you can explain this one better than I can. So we're doing the next segment, the next R-Truth segment. It's Truth undeclares himself for the Royal Rumble. So please, can you take us through Truth undeclaring for the Royal Rumble?
All right. So previous to Truth coming out there to do that, Paul Heyman is out there with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the current WWE champion at the time, and Heyman is proclaiming that Lesnar has done everything there is to do. There's nothing else for him to do. But the only thing that has never been done is to win the Royal Rumble match as the WWE champion. So that was something that Brock was aspiring to do, according to Heyman. And so when Brock, or should I say Heyman, declared Brock Lesnar for the Royal Rumble match, Truth comes out holding the 24/7 title, and he is saying that I am going to go into this match and I am going to eliminate you, Paul Heyman. And the camera cuts to Heyman's face, and Heyman looked like he had seen a ghost. Brock Lesnar thought he had heard the funniest thing in the world and was showing more character, almost as much character as we saw when he was wearing the sombrero during the Eddie Guerrero storyline. And Boombox Brock, that was a good one too. But that was a lot of character right there that Brock was showing, just beside himself laughing. And Heyman's like, I'm not in the Rumble match. He's like, you're not? He's like, no, Brock is. Oh, Brock Lesnar's in the match. Okay then. Well then I am officially undeclaring myself for the Royal Rumble match. And again, everybody is just hysterically laughing because like nobody's ever undeclared for the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, here we go with Truth doing it for the first time ever, and in Truth fashion.
Good stuff.
I think Brock Lesnar was falling over with laughter at this point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was dying laughing. And I think the rumor is that Brock wanted to do more with R-Truth because he had a good time with him.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
So and it's Brock Lesnar. Brock gets what he wants. So I'm gonna open up this one, our last segment that we've got to talk about. Let's all talk a little bit about Little Jimmy. Let's talk about Little Jimmy. So who wants to jump in and give their thoughts on Little Jimmy? And this was something a little bit older, where this wasn't in his, like I say, current run, but this was what, 2010, 11 ish, around there.
Yeah, it was around that time. It was around the time he was having that serious feud with John Cena. I can remember the pay-per-view because it only happened one time. It was Capital Punishment, Capital with an O, because it was in Washington, D.C. And Barack Obama in a referee shirt was like the cover art for it. So that's why I recall that one. But this was the time where Truth was a little more serious. We hadn't quite seen the comedic side in full tilt yet at this point. But Truth was blaming all the little Jimmies, and really kind of talking about John Cena fans, like all the little Jimmies out there, as the reason why Truth hadn't gotten a fair shake. And so whenever this storyline with John Cena was coming about, it was like little Jimmy this, little Jimmy that, but then it advanced into where instead of little Jimmy being the little Jimmies in the crowd, it became this imaginary friend entity that was like an accomplice with truth. And so we begin to see and hear more about little Jimmy like going forward with that with truth, so much so that it became a t-shirt later on.
So,
Oh, yeah.
what is Houston? What do you have to add about little Jimmy?
I remember, I think, one segment where the little Jimmy thing was getting to our truth so much that he actually started believing, like he would go out and, give little Jimmy high fives and everything else like that. I think somebody he was wrestling threatened little Jimmy and then kicked, pretending like he was kicking little
yeah, that's
Jimmy,
right.
and our truth freaked out, like, no, little Jimmy.
That's right. I remember that. I can't
Yeah,
remember who it was though.
yeah, but I just remember him freaking out and just sold for it. Like, no, he actually kicked little Jimmy. So, I
Yeah,
love this commit, and it showed a lot of range for him, and he find his niche, that nobody else could do like our truth. So,
yeah. I totally agree. I think that's what I remember. I remember him just being this invisible character, and we really saw our truth's personality um, come out around this little Jimmy time. And let me just say, I think this is that was the best thing that could happen to our truth,
mhm.
um, because
Yeah,
the longevity part.
Hmm.
He looks like
yeah,
$1 million. He's 51, I think. Looks like
Yeah.
$1 million. But I mean, like, if you face it,
hmm,
he doesn't need to be in the ring a lot, and when he does, he doesn't need to do a lot now, really. Just do his
no,
spots, and he's golden. So there we go. That's our segments. That is going into our brackets. So I am going to pull out the handy dandy wheel. Trent, you're going to have to keep track for me, but I will pull out the
On
wheel
board.
here, and we will spin the wheel. So let me get all situated here.
all right.
Little
Love
Truth
our.
looks like he's seen a spider.
Well, he's got araco. I can't even say it. Whatever he's got, I got it.
Acrophobia
Acrophobia. There you go. Thank you, Houston.
actually means fear of heights. Yeah.
All right. Are we ready, gentlemen?
We are ready.
All right. Here we go. Let me actually hold on.
Oh, I guess we're not ready.
Sorry. I was ready and then I wasn't. Okay, now I'm ready. All right.
That's
All
what
right.
she-
Here,
Why'd
That's
you
what
get
she
little
said.
Jimmy to help you out?
That's what she said.
it was little Jimmy's fault. Little Jimmy's fault
Yeah,
here.
little Jimmy.
All right. First coming up in our first bracket here, it is my bad.
Not
My
bad.
bad.
My bad.
All right.
And that will be going up against Money in
Money in the
the Rumble.
All right.
All right. The next thing that is picked here, it is Truth Undeclares for the Royal Rumble.
Jeez.
I think that might be a favorite right there. I think.
Well, that's Brock's favorite, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that is going up against the number 24 in the Royal Rumble, but the Women's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up is. I don't even know that's PG.
Yep. The meme.
And then that is going up against. Triple H, Tommaso Ciampa. right, next up is Little Jimmy.
The little Jimmy.
Little Jimmy, and that's going up against R-Truth. KOs himself.
Yep.
All right, next up. Draw the marbles.
Acrophobia, y'all.
Acrophobia. Yes.
Acrophobia.
And then that is going up against
Hot tag.
Hot Tag Ladder Match.
All right.
That means Hiding in Plain Sight is going up against the 5th member for War Games. That is our bracket. All right, so there we go. How do we feel about that bracket, y'all?
It's pretty evenly distributed, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a good. I think it's a good mix, you know. So let's go ahead and go with that first one. My Bad going up against was it the
Money in the Rumble.
Money in the Rumble. There you go. I
Money
like
in the
that.
Rumble. Okay. we
That
have to
abbreviation,
decipher
so-
that.
Yeah,
Let's go with that. So, let's start off with Houston. What's your take on these two, and where do you stand on what should advance?
Well, I think the 24 is the 24. No, the Money in the Rumble. I think that was a good setup and gimmick, you know. But I just love it when he does the segments where he says "my bad," you know. If he can come out there and shoot a promo all serious like old school R-Truth, and then somebody like, no, Truth, you're not even in this match. This doesn't even involve you. And he goes, it just gets me every time. He can do that, you know, every week, and it'll get me. So.
All right, there we go. Yeah, good deal. Trent, what about you? What do you think? My Bad or Money in the Rumble?
The My Bad thing was funny. Like I said that before, this was one of the earlier days before when we kind of started getting more of the comedic stuff for the first time with Truth. But to me, like running out there in the Rumble match and going and grabbing a ladder and then throwing it in the ring, and everybody in the Rumble match is just standing there watching, like, what is he doing? What is he doing? Even Michael Cole was just kind of like, what is he thinking? And then and then once he sets up the ladder in the center of the ring, you hear the commentators go, oh, I think he's confused about what kind of match this is. And then once he gets up to the ladder, the crowd is like, they have bought into this whole thing. Like, this is ridiculous, but we love it. But as soon as he reaches up for the invisible briefcase or title, whatever they tried to make it sound like it was, like the crowd was completely behind it. Because when he started climbing up that ladder, everybody was cheering him on, like, go faster, come on, go up there, get it. And there's nothing to go get. It was just, to me, that was a hilarious moment that to me takes it between these two.
I think that I'll agree. I just think that that's just such a classic. And what I think for me is I can visualize him trying to reach for this imaginary briefcase, right? Or belt or whatever he thought it was, right? I just, that lives, it really lives in my head rent free. So I really think I'm going to have to go with the Money in the Rumble match. Just for that facial features, you know, just he reaches up and then you can see the confused look on his face. It was like,
why isn't it there? Why is it not there? I don't understand.
oh my gosh, that is classic stuff. So all right, that is my pick there. It looks like
Money in the Rumble.
yeah. So it looks like Money in the Rumble goes against Undeclares himself for the Rumble. Do we want to wait on that one or go to the next one? What do you want to do? Trent?
Man, let's keep it rolling. We'll do it live. Let's just keep going.
Do it live,
with
baby. All right, so let's keep going. So Money in the Rumble goes up against Undeclaring. himself from the Royal Rumble. Let's go ahead and start off with you, Trent. Trent, what do you think about these two going up against each other? And yeah, like where should we go on this one?
For me personally, these are like within my top five our truth moments personally. So this one's difficult for me to decide. The whole idea that he went out there and talked all this big game about how he was going to win the Rumble, do this, do that, and I'm going to throw you over the top rope. And everybody is waiting for him to say Brock Lesnar, but then he just says Paul Heyman. Like, it just is one of those far left field things that you're just like, what? What kind of sense does that make? Like, did you really think he was in the match? But like, I think this is just the comedic touch that Truth has, is that so much of his stuff is like, I kind of got an idea of what I'm going to say before I go out there, but I'm going to tell no one what I'm going to say. And then he just drops all of this stuff like in the moment, almost impromptu, to people that have no idea what is that he's about to say. And that's the touch that Truth has, is like, we saw Lesnar just laughing like we had never seen him laugh before. And Heyman's face, Heyman really kind of keeps his head or his ears down to the ground on things, and he looked like he had no clue like that this was going to happen either. So it was almost like somebody said that was playing a rib on him or something. But I think, man, I think it's just so hard for me to go against the Money in the Rumble, because it's just like, this is the Royal Rumble match. This is like one of the biggest iconic matches in professional wrestling, and everybody knows like you got to go over the top rope. But this guy runs out there and just goes like, he's in his mind has to be thinking like, why has nobody gotten the ladder yet? Like, why has nobody gone for it? Like, I'm gonna run out there, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Runs out there, goes and grabs the ladder, and it's like the world pauses and just watches in awe and confusion as to what is going on. And like I said, when he reaches up there and there's nothing there, it's just the confusing look on his face that just makes it even more so. And like I said, by the time the ladder got into the ring, the fans had bought into the whole thing. They were like, this is funny, this is great, this is awesome, let's just keep it going. And it just was gold. So, man, as difficult as it is to make that kind of decision for me, I'm still going to stick with Money in the Rumble.
All right. Houston, what about you?
No, Brock Lesnar all the way. If you can make Brock Lesnar a great character, you have a talent not many other people have. So
I can agree with that too.
Definitely Brock Lesnar cracking up and Paul Heyman staying in character, and you're like, no, you idiot, you have to face this guy. And R-Truth to me like, oh, my bad, I undeclare myself. You can have all that. I'm going to be leaving.
Oh man, you know what? I know this is a fun episode, and there's nothing serious about this episode. It's hard to pick for those two, because I love to see Boombox Brock. We love Boombox Brock. We love the Eddie spot. We love when we can see him have fun, right? I mean, like, it's because we don't see that. We see the badass. We see the ass kicker,
Farmer
Brock Lesnar. So we don't get to see it very often. But I'm gonna have to agree with Trent on this. I think that Money in the Bank is just a classic. Money in the Rumble, I should say, is just a classic spot. So I'm gonna go on all the way on that one, at least for this round here. So sorry, Houston, we outvoted you.
You voted wrong, but okay. A lot of people do.
All right, so we've got
that comes in November though.
I'm going to take this personally and attack y'all behind your back now. So, yeah.
All right.
That's what X is for.
So next up, we've got number 24 in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble. and that's going to go up against Triple H and Tommaso Ciampa.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead,
Are we
Houston. Go ahead and
misreading
take
that
this
one,
one.
Oh, I don't know if we're misreading that bracket.
No, yeah, that read it was the bracket
versus
showed
Ciampa.
it's because we added more matches on this bracket, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a little different than our traditional 8
Yeah.
slot. So we put 12 in here. So the bracket, the way it reads is this PG against the Triple H and Ciampa one, and then the winner of that goes against the 24 Rumble slot.
Oh,
So
okay, gotcha.
start off with the
Okay.
Is it PG
Okay, sure.
and the Triple H and Ciampa one. So sorry for the confusion on that, but just
Oh,
there you
okay.
go, just a little
No,
clarification.
that's okay. I'm dyslexic, so I just got to make sure I'm not not an idiot. There's other idiots like me out there. So.
Yeah,
So
me
those
too,
slow
man. I
people
was,
that got on the short bus.
I was like, do I got
We're
this
all in the
upside
same
down?
boat.
Well, we just lost that audience now. Thanks, guys.
No, I really am dyslexic though.
I'm with them. I'm one of them. I can say it because
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Okay, so let me start this over. I'm not cutting it, by the way. Okay, I'm going to mute myself. All right, so PG going up against Triple H and Tommaso Ciampa. Houston, let's start with you. What do you think about these two?
Okay. I like both of them. I like it too when R-Truth can confuse you by saying he saw somebody, especially somebody who might be dead or may no longer be wrestling, and say, I saw him, we have a match with him later on tonight. No, Andre the Giant's dead, or Triple H isn't here. Who are you talking about? I love that, but the whole, I don't even know if that's PG, is such a meme and goes on strong today, and you can insert it into so many different things. I just love that, so I'm going to go with, I don't even know if that's PG.
All right, Trent, what about you?
Yeah, I in comparison to these, I'm gonna agree with Houston. I think the PG thing is, it's one of those if you know type deals. It was funny to just mistake Ciampa and Triple H, and that was a little more kid friendly, obviously a little more current as well. The PG era was something that us longtime fans weren't necessarily fans of, so to say. We didn't care for it, but the fact that they made this little innuendo using a Disney character and was like, hey, I don't even know if that's PG, that was some comedy that we were kind of like, all right, that was funny. That to me just made it a little bit more for me, so that's what I'll go with the PG moment.
Yeah, I would have agreed.
I thought so.
Definitely. All right, so looking at our bracket, so it is now PG going up against the number 24. Yes,
Yes,
okay,
that is correct.
All right, so that is going up. So let's just go ahead and get my take a little bit about this real quick. So I love the PG. I love that. But I really, really loved him coming out, and it always seems to be Royal Rumble, right? I mean, like it always seems to be the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
But I love him coming out in the number 24 spot, and I believe it's one of our other friends. We were watching it, and I think he called it, right? I think
He did in
called
fact call it.
you know that. Oh, he must have be number 24 in the men's Royal Rumble. Very, very kudos to him. And so, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with that one because it's, just classic to me. Houston, what about you? What do you think in terms of these two going up against each other?
I think it is still a classic Rumble moment, but I'm going to stick with, I don't even know if that's PG. I just hear it in my head. I'll see something on WWE. Ooh. That's kind of an innuendo, kind of like the Liv Dom spot this past week. And R-Truth will pop up in my head like, I don't even know if that's PG. So if it can live in my head like that, I mean, it deserves to move on. So.
All right. Hey, fair enough. Trent, that leaves you in the hot seat for this one. What do you think?
Once again, I would like to reiterate that you guys suck. So the Rumble thing is just it's funny to me. In if maybe if somebody else besides myself was in this seat, they might pick, the number 24 thing. I think that was funny, but I'm gonna agree with you, Houston. The whole I don't know if that's PG is something that just is something you can use, and it's just something that I felt like was more funny for the moment because us wrestling fans knew that this was not PG and this innuendo was not PG, but yet here we are putting it on what's supposed to be a PG show, and it's obviously not. And just the fact that he kind of broke that wall to make mention of that is what made it a little more funny for me. So yeah, Houston, I'm gonna agree with you on this and go with the PG moment.
You're off my list.
As he writes down, you are getting a Christmas card this year. And in honor of our truth, you're going to give it to us on the 4th of July.
Yeah. Oh, I should do that. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That is going into our semi-finals. At this point, my dyslexic is really kicking in, and so it might be a three.
You want me to help you out there? So
Yeah,
jump
but,
over to jump
take
over
the
to
bracket.
yeah, okay. So let's jump over to the right side of the bracket, top right hand corner, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Little Jimmy up against Truth, KOing himself.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. All right. Truth and Little Jimmy. I think Little Jimmy's classic. I think that's the start of the R-Truth character that we know and love today. So I'm just going to make this one an easy one for me and say Little Jimmy. Houston, what about you?
I loved the KO spot. He really got Big Show to break. I mean, pretty bad too.
It was like Show was just like, wait a second, you were supposed to get punched and you just did it to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Again, it was one of those things where I think Truth just goes out there and is like, how can I mess with people tonight? Oh, you
Yeah.
know what? We're going to talk about doing this, but I'm going to do something different and not tell
Yeah.
anybody.
And then
and-
once he's knocked out, he's on the ground. And he's just kind of looking up, like, is he still there? And he rolls out.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the KO spot because it still brings me a little bit of joy. I know that how important the Little Jimmy is, but I'm just gonna give it its little flowers there. I like that.
And credit to you on that for giving it flowers. We're not going to agree on this one.
No.
I'm gonna take the Little Jimmy spot.
Yeah.
But I think you've got to also remember that Little Jimmy in this particular situation didn't just have a single occurrence. This was a reoccurring thing with the whole Little Jimmy. He basically became another character on the show that didn't even exist. And this was all because of Truth just being able to do what he was able to do and got something over. Like literally, he got something over that nobody could see that didn't even exist and still got something over. Like
and
who does that?
Like Little Jimmy had merchandise? Like it was R-Truth merchandise, but didn't he have a Little
Yeah.
Jimmy, stuff?
Yeah, no, there was a literal Little Jimmy on the T-shirt.
That's amazing. Awesome. All right, so Little Jimmy advances there. Trent, I am going to let you talk about the bracket.
All right, so
yeah.
we're just gonna build off of Little Jimmy advancing, and now the Little Jimmy is going to go up against Acrophobia, as you mentioned to it. Look, as much as I said, Little Jimmy encompasses so much moments. There are funny moments with the Little Jimmy, but yeah, he had shirts for sure. But I think for me, when it comes to those two going up against each other, I think this was the part where Truth just had this outlandish promo, as you mentioned, Houston. Just like no one again is looking at this is, what is he thinking? What is he saying? Like, is he even making sense? Like, as much as we talk about him popping people in the ring and for stuff that he was doing in the moment, like he had Michael Cole like beside himself. And you could imagine, as knowing what we know about how Michael Cole always had Vince McMahon in his ears, like could you just imagine what Vince had to have been saying in Cole's headset after listening to Michael Cole just laughing hysterically throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, no, exactly. Agreed. Agreed. Um, Houston, what about you? What are your thoughts on little Jimmy and arachnophobia?
Uh, I do like the like what you was pointing to that Michael Cole. I don't know if he knew it was about to happen, but it seemed like as soon as our truth came out there and said he had acrophobia, Cole knew where the joke was going, and he just immediately started cracking up. Like he probably thinks it means spiders. He's like, I got lost for the next 5 minutes. Great, but Jimmy, original, beginning of our truth. So I'm gonna have to go with that.
All right. So, is it up to me? Is that me?
Yep, it's you.
Golly.
Yeah.
This is so hard here. I mean,
Well, I think you got to wonder now, Derek. Do you want to be on Houston's list anymore?
yeah, that's no, that is true. No, I don't, because I want
I
my
can take
Christmas
you
card
off. I mean, print
on
that off
4th of July.
pretty easily.
Uh,
There you go.
no, I mean, I really think that yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with the little Jimmy thing though, for real, because I mean that's the start of this character, right? Um, so I think for me, I think it is gonna be the little Jimmy.
Yeah, we know you like the little Jimmy.
Yeah, I like little Jimmy. I love little Jimmy. Little Jimmy is my friend. All right, so here we go. So we got little Jimmy going up. Well, it's
Into the semifinals.
in the semifinals. All right, Trent, tell us where we're going next.
All right. So, bottom right hand corner of the bracket, we're going to start off with hiding in plain sight up against being the fifth member for War Games with Judgment Day.
All right. So
I like how Trent has to read for us like we're children because
It's
we can't interpret
look,
that.
you know what? When you're in a classroom, you just can't be surprised at how
Never the
you have
teacher.
to spoon feed and literally walk with holding their hand instructions with some things.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
especially
look right here.
all right. So let's go.
Yeah, but we're grown ass men.
You're both willingly just said that you both rode the short bus, so
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still do. What do you mean? Used to.
Yeah, I know.
All right, Houston. Why don't you
Yeah.
take this one? Where do you think about these two going up against each other?
Which ones are we at? Because I get them pay attention which one now.
God. All right, hiding in plain sight, Houston, or
580.
fifth member of War Games.
Oh, how did it? Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go with there. I'm at an R truth moment. Yeah, I'm gonna go with fifth member of Judgment Day because I'm gonna clump in every Judgment Day segment, and any moment he can just insert himself. He can get beat up one week. He can show up late for Survivor Series, and he's like, "Oh, did we win? Like, how did I do?" And like, no, we didn't win. Damn it. So I'm gonna member of Judgment Day because he was a fifth member of Judgment Day, and JD wasn't an official member because he beat JD in a match. So
There we go. Yeah, Trent. What about you?
I agree with Houston. I think the hiding in plain sight thing was funny because you just, you know, saw Truth in the crowd, like dressed up in costumes. That whole 24/7 run, there was lots of funny things that he did, but it was really kind of hard to get behind the 24/7 championship as a whole. It would have never happened without Truth. Without Truth doing some of the things that he did, that thing was dead in the water. But this whole fifth member with Judgment Day, that whole stuff that they were doing, for me trumps the 24/7 stuff. So I'm gonna agree with Houston and go with the fifth member at War Games.
All right. I just want to say, the way we lumped the Judgment Day stuff, I lumped all of the 24/7 stuff really with that hiding in plain sight. Our truth is the 24/7 365 I-95 European television champion. So I kind of lumped that all together there. But no, I agree. I think that's classic stuff, and I think he took that and he definitely ran with it. So yeah, that's cool. I'm cool with the fifth member. So anyways, all right, Trent, why don't you tell us where it is going next?
All right, so just building off of that now, the fifth member of War Games is going to go up against the Hot Tag ladder match at this past year's WrestleMania. So, you know what, Derek, I'll let you start. I won't take it from you.
Oh, okay, okay. So let's see. Um, hmm. That's it's so hard. Because I really like that Judgment Day stuff, but I really seem to I really like that hot tag thing. It just I'm think I'm gonna go with the hot tag at WrestleMania. I just think it was really funny. It was like yet another, what can we do and have our truth confuse, the matches up. So I'm gonna go with the hot tag, personally. But I love the Judgment Day stuff too. So, but and it's kind of, you know, in that same realm, sort of. So, but anyways, what about you, Trent? What do you think?
For me, again, like the hot tag thing kind of happened within not too far after the Judgment Day stuff kind of went down, but still the involvement, like he still had involvement with the Judgment Day to a degree, even leading into this match, because if you recall, Priest was still trying to give Truth like, hey, look, I like you. I don't want to have to do anything. Can you please just stop and go? And like I just and he was just like trying to do something, but even in those moments, Truth was still getting Priest to break and still having some pokes here and there with the Judgment Day things. The hot tag thing, everybody got fired up for that, and I think it was kind of the same type of moment with the Money in the Rumble. Like, it's a ladder match. There's no tags in this thing, but we're gonna jump up on there in the corner. We're gonna grab the tag rope. We're gonna slap the turnbuckle. We're gonna cheer Miz on and reach for the tag. Like, come on, tag me! And then the crowd just buys into it. And then once the unofficial tag is made, like the crowd erupts and then goes with the five moves of doom. It's just funny stuff. But if we're going to lump in all of the Judgment Day stuff that was involved, I think that's going to be what takes it for me. So I'm going to take the fifth member at War Games segment and, as we said, lump all the Judgment Day stuff together there over the hot tag.
All right, so Houston, that leaves you, bud. You are in the hot seat.
Ooh, okay. Well, if we can lump all the Judgment Day stuff like we're lumping all the little Jimmy stuff, I'm going to have to go with the Judgment Day because that was the gift that kept on giving. I mean, anytime you just had to put him in the background, he just need to pop his head up like while the Judgment Day's having a meeting and his head just pop in like, yeah, what we talking about? Like, that's all you needed, and you got to pop out of me. You got to rise out of me. I mean, even after the hot tag segment, the next day on Raw, you still had he just got done putting uh, Finn Balor through a ladder, and he's standing next to him with the tag titles. Like, yeah, I won the tag titles for us. Like, no, you idiot, you're not in the Judgment Day still. Like why? What'd I do? So I'm gonna go with the fifth member of Judgment Day. Yeah.
All right. So Houston, you are on my list now.
We're all just keeping track.
All right, there you go. That advances. That's fine. That's fine. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so Trent, take us to where we are now.
So in our semifinals, we've got Money in the Rumble going up against, I don't know if that's PG, and then on the other side of the bracket, the Little Jimmy segments going up against the fifth member of Judgment Day segments. So let's start things off, going back to the left side of the bracket. Let's go back to Money in the Rumble, and I don't know if this is PG. So, you know what, Houston, you can start this one off.
Oh, awesome, cool. I get first.
So we don't get in on people's lists.
I am going to go with, I don't even know if that's PG. Just again, it's such a meme now. It's got its own. It's got life of its own. But yeah, I just love that little segment, and I'm gonna go with that's not PG.
All right. Well, what about you, Trent? Why don't you take the next one?
All right. Well, just to start this one off, I guess Houston's going to be on my list now. Need my Jericho pin here.
You didn't vote yet, so I can't be on your list. I made my own decision.
Well, I'm alluding to.
You.
I'm alluding.
No,
so that means like
read
I
your
am
mind.
going against what you just said because
I can't read your mind. You're like getting mad at me for stuff I didn't even know. You know what? I'm sure, what are you voting for? I'm voting for it too. So Derek, you're out. You don't even get to vote.
No, it's not how this works.
That's how this works just now.
No.
So what are you voting for? I'm voting
No.
for it too. Like,
No. I'm not voting for the same thing you voted for. That's not what I said.
You just did. You just voted for that's not PG. That's what you just said. So there we go. It moves on to the bracket. Move it along.
Money in the Rumble. There. That's my pick. Derek, go. Your turn. Hurry
Not what
before
you
he
said.
does this
Not
again.
what you said. That's not what you said.
Okay. Gosh, this is hard because I mean Houston is right about that being like a meme, and being in an era where kind of stretching that what PG was.
There was something else that stretched in that segment.
That in his face where he's like in the Photoshop.
Oh, that's true. I say that, but however, I think it's Money in the Rumble for me. It's just I'm gonna go back to that classic, reaching for the briefcase. Just another moment where R-Truth just gets confused and he forgets what kind of matches he's in. So for me, that's gonna be what advances. Sorry, Houston, I will not expect a Christmas card this year.
On 4th of July.
On 4th of July. All right,
All right,
tell
so
us where we
all
are
right.
now.
Now that Money in the Rumble is in the finals, we have to determine who is going to be going up against it. That is the Little Jimmy segments and the fifth member of Judgment Day segment. So, let's go in reverse order here. So, Derek, start this off.
All right, Little Jimmy and the fifth member of the Judgment Day. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Judgment Day. I think that it's some good stuff. I think Little Jimmy's great and all, but I just think we really got something special with the R-Truth and the Judgment Day. Specifically, we lumped everything in together, but for me, I think it's going to be the Judgment Day.
Yeah, Houston, go ahead and go. I know I said reverse order, but I'll be cordial and let you go.
All right. Well, I'm going to agree with Derek because I think Little Jimmy was R-Truth finding his footing of his comedic timing and everything. And then I think him in Judgment Day is him being a comic expert at this point, and he knows where to insert himself, his timing, his rhythm, what gags work, and every bit of it worked when he was doing the Judgment Day stuff. So,
Agreed.
going with that.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna say the fifth member of Judgment Day stuff, but I didn't want to, put you out if you were gonna choose Little Jimmy. So I was giving you an opportunity to do that, and since you went and did that anyway and sided with Derek, so it didn't matter. But I was gonna side with Derek as well. So there you go. So our finals are set now. It is R-Truth being a fifth member of Judgment Day and all the antics that followed with that, going up against the moment of R-Truth thinking that the Royal Rumble match is a ladder match.
All right.
Oh man,
this was a hard one. Well, Trent, why don't you take this one? You gave us the opportunity for the other one, so why don't you take this one?
all right, man. All right, we'll just think out loud here. The Judgment Day stuff is going to live on for a long time. I think it definitely has helped with some of the new generation of fans that the company has brought along. It was really what got my wife and my daughter kind of more behind Truth, and if it wasn't for Truth's comedic timing and just his genuineness of being funny in everything that he did involved with the Judgment Day, they probably wouldn't be as much of a R-Truth fan as they are now. But it's like, as if we're watching Raw, and sometimes there's parts of Raw where you can just kind of mindlessly pay attention to, but whenever we see Miz or Truth pop up on the screen, we know something is about to be just priceless, and that we can't miss the opportunity to see what is going to happen next. Just most recently, like if I'm walking around the house and I just say strawberry, like my daughter laughs because she knows that I'm referencing the Memorial Day ice cream segment that Truth and Miz did, talking about representing your flavor, and Miz says, "Oh, I'm wearing these white clothes because I'm vanilla, and that must mean you are," and Truth goes strawberry, like, wait, what would you think? What were you gonna say? And everybody's like, yeah, what were you gonna say? It was just funny comedic timing of that. Man, all that said, for me, it has just always been the Money in the Rumble spot. That Money in the Rumble segment where he just runs out there and is just like, I am going to win. I am going to do this. I'm going to get that ladder. I'm going to climb. And then everybody in the audience just fully behind it. Man, and when it's just that build up, reaches up there, and then it's just complete letdown. And so for me, it's always going to be the Money in the Rumble spot. So that's going to be my take, guys.
All right, Houston, what about you?
I'm going to go with standby fifth member of the Judgment Day because, again, I think he just enhanced that whole group, because Judgment Day, I think without R-Truth, they would have floundered a little bit, and this kind of gave them a new edge. So as far as like being a comedic act as well as the heel group kind of thing. So I love that. And I loved his spots with JD. JD's still not even on the shirt for Judgment Day. JD has been in that group for I don't know how long. He's got a full jacket, cut, and everything like that. But because R-Truth beat him in a match, R-Truth can still say he's not even in the group anymore. I'm in the group. So he's even in R-Truth was on the shirt. He might have been a sticker added on there, but he was on the shirt. So
that sticker made a lot of money.
It made them a lot of money, yep.
So this means I'm in the hot seat.
Yep. Yeah,
Choose
suck it,
all.
Derek.
This is bullshit!
Okay. Well, gosh, that's hard. Okay. This is this is really hard. All right,
that
let
was
me.
the PG segment. This.
I love the Money in the Bank stuff, and I love the Judgment Day stuff. And I mean, I think you both have valid points. Um, I think we've got to say what's going to stand the test of time. And I think that honestly, and I could be wrong here, but I think the Judgment Day stuff is going to be able to stand the test of time here. And I say that because look on how many clips that they have now of, you know, him trying to get into this group or him saying that he is in this group. I think it's brought character to every single member of that group. I think what's going to stand the test of time is the Judgment Day. So that's my pick. I'm going to go with the Judgment Day fifth member particularly, but I think that is going to be our winner and R-Truth's funniest and greatest moments. So there you go. There you have it. We have spoken. Best of the Bracket has spoken. So, gentlemen, what do you think about R-Truth in the Judgment Day, and that being our winner of our bracket?
Well, I mean, like, it wasn't my pick, but I don't disagree with what y'all said either. Like, I'm perfectly content with the Judgment Day stuff. I agree with you, Derek. I think the Judgment Day segments are going to stand the test of time, just as the Money in the Rumble spot did, you know, for however many years it's been since that moment happened. And I think the Judgment Day segments are going to last just as long, if not longer, just like that Rumble spot did. So I'm content with, you know, the Judgment Day stuff winning this bracket.
Yeah, and I think the Judgment Day stuff. I think Priest said it like they were just gonna do like a one-time thing where he just tries to get in, and then they kind of kick him out, and then he kind of goes on. But they loved it so much, and working with him, they just had to keep bringing him back. And so I think they did that for like 6 months.
Yeah, it was a lot longer than what they anticipated.
Yeah, they got a lot out of that and made a lot of money off the T-shirts too, because people love R-Truth. How can you not love R-Truth? Michael Cole says it all the time. He's a national treasure, which I believe he is. He's a national treasure.
Yes, even my wife says protect him at all costs.
Yes. So it goes the president and then R-Truth.
Yeah, president and R-Truth. That's order of protection right there.
They might be on the same level. You know, at this point, I'll take R-Truth as president. So, you know what?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's big classic stuff. Okay, well, there you go. There you have it, folks. We have spoken. Judgment Day, fifth member. But really, we lumped all of the Judgment Day into that, you know, his greatest, R-Truth, that is, pronouns, greatest moment. So there you have it. I think we had a wonderful episode, you know, so had a lot of fun, y'all. So I think it's time to wrap up. It's time to say goodnight. So, you know, we're going to say goodnight, and, you know, we will see you next time here on Best of the Bracket. See y'all later.